My story is still going on. There is a divorce process and a division of property. My wife and I have been married for 27 years. I have 3 children. My son is 25. My daughters are 20 and 5 years old. I'm 50 myself. My wife is 47. I had my 3rd child at the age of 45, and my wife was 42. I don't have a belly, I'm not bald or bald, but, on the contrary, I have thick hair, although it's already half gray, but my wife and friends say that it doesn't spoil me. I know that women like me. I don't smoke, I hardly drink. With potency, too, everything is fine, and this is not bragging. Before this whole dirty story, sex with my wife was regular, mostly in the morning, as the most effective, since the body is rested. And this happens. Not once every 6 months or a month, but at least 3 times a week, or even more often, every morning or every other day. It's quite diverse. We didn't have any forbidden topics in terms of intimacy. I haven't cheated on my wife in all these years, even though I've had women before her. I loved her. Besides, he's a little squeamish. I don't need anyone, but she's my own. Everything about my wife suited me. He knew every inch of her body. He knew what she needed and what she enjoyed most. And she knew. That's why everything was fine here. She has also never given any reason to doubt her in all these years. Not once until recently. The 27th anniversary of the wedding was supposed to be celebrated in the summer. I wanted to go to Cyprus with her, but there's this crown. Damn it! But these are small things. In February, I got something like I was hit on the concrete wall with my face and even ran over with a skating rink. It's all trivial, an office romance, and as I was informed, even before the new year, it started for her, with a corporate party. I don't know how true it is, but it doesn't matter anymore. And what an actress. In general, it was handed over, by their own employees. Some lady may have eliminated a competitor. I don't know. But the fact is the fact. He is 6 years younger than her. He's 41. I have a wife and a 14-year-old daughter. He himself holds a position slightly higher than that of my wife. Hopefully the former one, after all. They had their first sexual encounter right during a corporate party in his office. But I know it from words. They were well encrypted. They didn't write anything to each other, so they couldn't be caught in correspondence. But she relaxed. One evening, as I understood it, he did not close the door of his office. They were probably in such a hurry to retire. They were filmed on a mobile phone through the half-open door. This video was sent to me from an unknown number. My first desire was to fuck her. Well, she wasn't at home, although I've never laid a hand on her in my life. Then I cooled down a little. I began to figure out what to do. Should I go and punch her lover in the face? Not an option. I decided to deal with him later. The fact that I will no longer live with her is out of the question. But what to do? With the joint property? I have a company that I raised myself, and I'm not going to split it in half. So I decided to withdraw the assets first and then get divorced. I pretended I didn't know anything. I don't know how I managed to keep my outward composure. You wouldn't envy an enemy. But I stopped kissing her after that, and we ended our intimacy. I said I wasn't feeling well. She even worried about my words about being unwell. She asked me to go to the hospital, but looking at her caring eyes, I wanted to make a good effort. But he held on. I sold my car, and there was a reason. I wanted to change it. Then they sold her car, and he said there was a better option. I took the money. Self-isolation helped with the company. At least one plus. I let all the workers go. Home, it was supposed to be that way. Then he paid their salaries and fired them due to the ruin. I also withdrew money from my accounts, started the liquidation procedure. At the same time, he began to register the same company for his mother. She's been an old lady for 74 years, but Grandma's cheerful. My wife didn't know anything. She was waiting for a cool car. Anyway, I'm done by May. All we have left is a 3-bedroom oversized apartment in a new building, but there's nothing we can do there. There is also a country house. But we're not going to share this house. The wife is broken. The thing is, the land there belonged to my grandparents. They had a house there. This village is bent over, but the place there is gorgeous. A river, a forest. Cottages began to appear. After my grandmother's death, my mother inherited it. The old house was demolished. I built a beautiful, neat 2-story house there, which my wife and I have dreamed of since we were young. We actually lived in this house. I know that my wife loves this house. Together with her, everything was planned there. A garden was planted, flower beds, a gazebo, a swimming pool, but the land and the house are registered to my mother as an inheritance from my grandmother. Well, I didn't re-register for myself at the time, although my mother offered. In the end, my wife sensed something. She fussed, started asking questions, including why I'm not affectionate, I won't kiss her, there's no love in the morning, she's alive. And most of all, I feel sorry for our 5-year-old daughter. I love her. I love all my children, and especially this baby. But she's our last one, our favorite girl. And so, at the end of April, my wife and I had a conversation. She must have sensed something was wrong by now, and she was shaking. I showed her the video. She fell to her knees, saying, "I'm sorry." He roars, grabs his legs. He asked why. What was missing? I couldn't answer properly. She said she was mistaken, that she didn't know what she was doing, and in the end, her son turned away from her. The eldest daughter is rushing between us, also condemns her. The youngest does not yet understand why her parents do not live together. I hired a lawyer to share the apartment and keep my daughter for myself. As it is, she has nothing left. No car, no money, no company either. And what did she achieve by canceling out everything that we had?